Hey everyone, welcome to Infinite Realms. And in the action figure community, they say, they're the Hasbros who try to convince you gotta buy it, keep buying the products even when it's crap, because if you don't, they won't continue the line. And then you look over at D&D and what just happened. For those of you not in the know, there's been this thing with what's called the Open Gaming License, and they allowed people to publish D&D content and make money off of it. And for the past month, there's been this big controversy about the Dungeons and Dragons and the open game license. And basically, they wanted to change it. They had some horrific uh, things in there about taking people's ideas and using it as their own and not having to pay royalties, etc., being able to shut down anyone's publication at any time. Yeah, it was bad. It got so bad that Paizo, basically, who have been publishing under the Open Gaming License for a while, but have actually used their game to move into a different realm, actually just gathered up everybody else and said, come on, we're not going to listen to this. I mean, we gave them 2 weeks to respond, and they didn't. We're going to just gather the wagons and just do our own thing. And man, Wizards of the Coast, aka Hasbro, lost a lot of money. They instantly saw it in their D&D Beyond subscriptions, which shot down. The community stood up. The community said something. And you know what else? They won. Because today, over at D&D Beyond Twitter, the past few weeks, this is a tweet. The past few weeks, the community have made their voices heard. And we've listened. OGL 1.0 will remain untouched, and the entire SDR 5.1 is now available under Creative Commons license. In other words, 5th edition still has the open game license. They may be able to do something with their 5.1 edition and limit that. That's fine. Nobody gives a damn about that anyway, but D&D. You've already burned that bridge. But for 5th edition, it cannot be touched. And I wanted to go over and just read to you some of this. 88% of the people do not want to publish content under the OGL 1.2. This was their new one. It was much lighter than the first one they put out, but it was still bad. 90% would have to change some aspect of their business to accommodate OGL 1.2. 89% are dissatisfied with the authorizing the OGL 1.1a, which was the one everyone liked. 86% are dissatisfied with the draft of the virtual tabletop policy. Don't tell me you can't stand up to the company and get something done. Dungeons & Dragons just did it. You can too. So yeah, 2 minutes after recording what I thought was a victory, I see the announcement that Hasbro's laying off 1,000 people. Now, why are they laying off 1,000 people? Because they got 1.6 billion instead of 1.9. So in other words, $1.6 billion of our money is not enough for that company. Hold on. Just wait a second. I mean, don't go hating on me yet. It seriously feels like the gold tribute to the dragon was not sufficient, so they're going to burn 1,000 people. Now, this is 1,000 people. These people's lives we're talking about here. This is not, this is not light. This should not be taken lightly, because no one knows who's going to get laid off. And that's pretty scary to think about. You put yourself to a company and they just let you go because they made a little less. And I know people are going to say, oh, because they have to be responsible to the shareholders and keep the stock prices at this, at a similar place and can make a certain amount of money. And yeah, that's true. Yes, we understand that. I did take economics in college, and it's flawed because then you ruin people's lives. And it's aggravating because it just shows greed. Greed on the shareholders, greed on the corporation, greed all around. And we already are dealing with enough greed from Hasbro. So, and I know people are going to say, well, you buy Hasbro stuff. And if you look at the percentage of stuff I pick up from Hasbro versus the percentage of stuff I pick up from, let's say, NECA, percentage-wise, I pick up a whole lot more from NECA than I do from Hasbro, from what they produce. Second, it's not like I can't like a product and hate their business practices. The two are not mutually tied together. Some of their product can be pretty good and I can like it. But doesn't mean I have to like what they do as a business. And right now I don't like what they do as a business. I'm just going to be straight up about it. I don't like it. Now, and I really thought about it all day Saturday. And I just kind of was like, $1.6 billion. Just think about the amount of money that is. $1.6 billion. Generations of my family could live fine off of that. I don't know about you, but I'm sure that generations of my family could live very well off of that. So yeah, I was thinking about how to verbalize my frustration in a way that didn't make me come off like an angry dumbass. And then I watched the 3POA podcast, and wow. Bobby Valla went through his experience being laid off at Hasbro. And, oh my, that was good. That was real good. And it was cathartic. You could tell it's cathartic for him. I think it was cathartic for myself because I really felt like, yeah, this company cares even less than I thought. I thought maybe they might have cared for the people who worked for them. Till I heard the 1,000 people getting laid off. That's bullshit. That's terrible. That's horrible. It should not be done. It's not something that, yeah, I don't like it. I just don't like it. And we don't know who's going to get laid off. We just know 1,000 of them are. It could be people who are on those live streams. And but in the meantime, I'm sitting here, I'm also doing another talkie video about how I'm pretty sure Hasbro doesn't know what they're doing with G.I. Joe. And it's just an example of how this company does not know what it's doing at all. But I'm centering it on G.I. Joe, comparing it to Valaverse, Action Force, and it's kind of interesting. So I'll leave that one in that video, but this also tells me, it just seems to me that a smart business, when they notice they're making less money, would probably go look at what's causing it and then do something about it, if there was possible. Now, in this case, there probably isn't anything possible to do about it. We all know what's causing the money to go down. Let's face it. We know the factors that are making this happen. And it seems like Hasbro should too. But of course, in explaining this, it had to come back on the customer because a difficult customer environment, I believe is how Chris Cox said it. Yes, because, we're difficult. Not that Hasbro hasn't been really difficult the past couple of years. And especially this past year. But that's okay. You know why? Because, they're showing their true colors. And as Mr. Valla said, why does it seem like they always have a massive layoff every 2 years? And that's true. Why is that? He also pointed out, and I thought this was interesting, how many people actually retire from Hasbro? Yeah. Interesting, huh? Okay, so sorry to sour the victory, but another one. got hit and just had to taco about it. Thank you for watching Infinite Realms. Don't forget to like and subscribe.